Captain, have you made contact with the cruiser?
Yes, General. We'll patch you through now.
Cloak of Darkness was the first time we saw Luminara as a character. I mean, even though she shows up in the movies and the live action, she has a few action scenes, doesn't have any dialogue, and we don't really know anything about her.
This is General Luminara Unduli requesting permission to land.
You are cleared, General. We await your prisoner's arrival.
Design-wise, Luminara was interesting because the live-action costume is made up of many layers of draped cloth, and that would be just a very difficult thing to pull off because cloth is one of those very intensive, render-intensive things. So the designer Tang Li had to come up with a way to keep the feel of the Luminara outfit but make it much simpler, cut down the layers of cloth and figure out a way to keep the shape really simple and graphic, which he did by sort of stripping down the top section to just a shawl, a headdress and a skirt with a sort of tabard on the front, and it works really well.
You will stay here with Captain Argaius.
Kind of a nice little mixing thing that Juan Peralta, our mixer, did in Cloak of Darkness, where Ventress is planting the little explosive charges all over the engine core. So she's force jumping all over the place, and there's these little like wishes of her body jumping, or the little arrow-like toss of the charges flying through the air. And all the while, we're kind of focused on the little patrol droid that's kind of wandering around. And he kind of hear these things going on, but he doesn't quite know what it is. But in the surrounds, you kind of hear these things kind of zipping all over around you, like she's just planning dozens of these charges, kind of like the way he filled the space with all those sounds.
Well, we had an interesting situation in Cloak of Darkness where Ahsoka was assigned to be with Luminara. Luminara wasn't expecting this young girl who's a bit more brash. Ahsoka definitely says what she wants.
Tell us what we want to know right now, or I will gut you like a Rokarian dirtfish. Padawan. Terra is not a weapon the Jedi use.
So you get to see a contrast in the way that Luminara sees Ahsoka compared to Anakin sees Ahsoka.
If it isn't the hairless harpy.
If it isn't Skywalker's filthy, obnoxious little pet.
Ventress and Ahsoka in the end have a lot of things in common. They're both trying to impress their masters. They're both, students. Ventress just happens to be older than Ahsoka and farther down in her training, so she's more powerful than Ahsoka.
The Padawan.
Luminara's lightsaber in this episode is not actually Luminara's lightsaber, it's Plo Koon's. Luminara's lightsaber is pretty much Plo Koon's, but it's gold-plated at the base. Plo's is silver all the way through. And this is just one of those TV schedule things. We knew it was wrong, but we also knew it was close enough that anyone but a truly hardcore Luminara fan is not going to notice. She does get it eventually, though, so because we knew she was going to come back, we did sort of make the effort to give her the proper lightsaber.
Greetings, General. We have the brig all ready for this traitor.
Very good, Captain. Command agree? Let's get underway.
The Senate commandos that we have wear clone armor that's painted blue because we didn't have at that time a lot of modeling ability for every episode. So we reused the body armor, leg armor. We added a big kind of scarab shell to the side of the commandos to give them a different look, and they got their classic helmet from Phantom Menace, the big blue helmet.
Your boldness has saved our people, Your Majesties.
We didn't want to use clones because we wanted these Senate guards to be a bit more elite, a bit more independent, and also at that time we weren't really ready for the concept of a clone traitor.
I can't disobey a direct order and leave my post, can I?
Oh, I wouldn't.
We thought at that point it was more believable to think that someone that was not a clone would be a traitor, and that he would have more ambition than a clone would, who would be very loyal to the Republic he was serving.
Count Dooku has paid me a fortune to deliver your slimy carcass, so please, try to stay alive.
It also helped introduce the fact that there were soldiers who were not clones in the Clone War, which I think is kind of key, that there were people that were kind of a holdover from the old Republic, which is obviously the Republic Guards, but that they're groomed to be elite Emperor's Royal Guards later. So there's this thread of these kind of characters that show up that might be different than clones and have their own, their own desires, their own plans on what they want to do.
Why'd you do it, Argaius?
A clone like you would never understand. I wanted a life with more than empty servitude. Sometimes being a good soldier means doing what you think is right.